Dude, you just did what the Sturmgewehr.
A day before my election.
I know. That's why I was like, brave man. Brave man. He doesn't care. This is as it should be. And it's too late to.
Yeah. And it was a big fuck you to the media, too. Like, people try to cancel me for an MP40 video. A video in which I say, like, hey, jokes aside, like, we don't actually like Nazis. Like, our political philosophy is, like, the opposite of fascism. Like, I'm a pro-freedom guy. They burned books, and they took the guns. They're not my biggest fans, and I'm not the biggest fan of theirs. But they still try to make
anything on history, Brandon. You just can't touch history. That's a Nazi. You're immediately related to it.
Interesting, because that sounds like burning books. but like but I did the MP40 video, and like 2 years later, they say resurfaced video. It's like, no, mother. I put it up there. It got like 3 million views. I'm proud of it. Yeah. It's still on my fucking channel.
That's on my YouTube channel.
You just Googled me the first time, you retard. Anyway, but just to prove that I wasn't sorry, like the day before my election, I'm like, fuck you. I got another Nazi machine gun video to do. And I literally just shit on media the entire time. I shit on journalists like 4 times in that video.
Guys, remember, bully journalists anytime you can.
Yeah. Bully politicians. That's the biggest takeaway from this.
If this election taught me anything, it's that if you think you hate journalists enough, that you don't. You fucking don't. They are the worst. They are lower than pond scum.
Are you saying they manipulate
Sorry,
the
Miss
media?
Medina.
We got a couple friends, but like friends excluded, most of them are just trash.
Dude, as an outside perspective, I mean, watching everything, it was insanity to see just the people would make up or the agendas that would be pushed or things that were taken out of context. That's why I hated it even more for social media and then journalists in politics, because that is disgusting behavior. Like,
and then they act like
abhorrent.
Why does nobody trust the media? It's like, I don't know, maybe because you're a bunch of fucking snakes. Like, anybody who does any modicum of research into this knows. Like, if you
most people don't. That's what sucks. Like, no one does research on it. And
I mean the people that are doing it. The journalists, like anybody who's looking into it to write an article, they saw the context. They know all this shit. They don't care. And most importantly, they want to purposely take it out of context to get clicks, because they're just us, but worse.
They just want a clickbaity bullshit title.
Yes, they just thrive, and they thrive off of that. Where it's like, as long
as they get fucking their Google AdSense ads looked at in their shit, then they're gonna say whatever they can to get the most clicks, no matter how wrong it is.
Darnell would text. He's like, what the fuck? Darnell didn't know. I would tell him in the past, I was like, you can't trust the government. And then like media news, they lie. And he understood it a good amount until seeing that they would put against you or the guys. He was like, this is like blatant lies. Mm-hmm. This is just trying to assassinate somebody's character based off of no idea. Just no idea.
I have a list of people that I'm still going to go after pretty hard on Twitter. On Twitter.
For the record, a list of people
in Minecraft.
Right here, Chase.
I was like, whoa. Brandon, in Minecraft. In Minecraft.
No, in real life. At his house in Beverly Hills, Los Angeles.
This feels like eating ice cream for the first time after a 2-year diet.
Oh, you're just going ham. You're like, say all these words.
I can say whatever I fucking want.
Chase is just like, it's like, well, the pepper box is an easy edit.
I know this entire episode is just going to be beep.
Also, for the people that are still wondering why we censor on YouTube, is because there is a limit to how many cuss words you can say. Otherwise, you get demonetized. We don't know how we can say that enough.
We got age gated or whatever it was, like 2 episodes in a row. We did nothing wrong other than say fuck too many times in a like 60-second or 30-second time frame. I didn't even know that was a rule.
This was the most wholesome episodes too. You're talking about Grandpa Gaming.
Grandpa Gaming,
which was the most respectful. Like the comments were like, you can tell the guys are trying to be like super respectful. Age restricted. That episode got age restricted when we had to fight and then cut out a 1-minute segment or something.
Yeah. Something that wasn't even that bad. I look back at it, I'm like, this is one, if you're like...
He only said like 4 slurs.
He's from a different time.
No, he's a sweetheart. I'm joking.
He's awesome.
He did say the slurs, though.
He's like, no,
also a joke. Also a joke.
But he was like, that episode in the demo and the episode right before it, all both age restricted just because of cuss words. So that's, if you're wondering why it has little beeps sometimes, that is exactly why. But why would you censor it? Fuck that. No, if you get age restricted, your viewership tanks immediately. It's being smart, guys. It's being smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, and realistically, it's like the reason you're watching the Unsubscribed podcast is probably because it got presented to you by the algorithm, which doesn't fucking happen when it gets age restricted. So like you're cutting our reach, and like a lot of you who for some reason aren't subscribed. I don't know why you wouldn't be subscribed to a podcast called Unsubscribed. The only way you guys see it,
Fatal flaw in the branding.
We should have thought one that
was our Death Star exhaust port.
A podcast called "Turn Off Your Computer and Go Outside."
But what you should do after you're done. But like for those of you who aren't subscribed, the only way you see this is because it's pushed to you in the algorithm in your home feed, your browsing feed, or your suggested videos. So like that, none of that happens when we get like demonetized. So it's not just a money play. It's literally, it just cuts our reach entirely.
Like you were looking at, hey, you're doing 100,000. Cody has a good example. You were doing like 1 million views and it got turned off, or you got hit with age restriction.
Yeah.
Again, 1 million views in a day and then age restricted immediately. You just see the line go like flat line and 1.1 million after like a month. It chokes the shit out of that piece of content.
I love how YouTube tries to say that that's not what happens. That demonetization doesn't
That's a
drive your
flat-out
views.
lie.
Yeah, you can see it in your fucking analytics. You can see it go boop and it just drops. Like, yeah.
It's why, and you have to placate to it, especially if you want to get your message to a wider audience. It's just being smart about it. It's making your soapbox and then being like, okay, this is how I operate this soapbox. I have to cut a few words out. That's fine. Then create Pepperbox. So then you don't have to cut those words.
I love how though every YouTuber you talk to, like when you bring it up, well, apparently, demonetization doesn't cut your reach. Every one of them laughs. We all know it's a lie. It's like, yeah, okay. And my uncle was really checking me for ticks. Okay, yeah, sure.
Censorship. That's the hard part with Pepperbox right now. Also, for FYI, censorship free means censorship free on what we decide of like, hey, this killed our career because it could be Brandon, again, all you need to
I might have to run again in 2 years.
Also, Brandon made a joke about veteran sewer slides, and look at how much shit that caused and taken out of content. That was with a group of veterans laughing about a joke
That we didn't make.
Yes,
A joke that we didn't make. We were talking about a joke we were gonna say in the Veterans Sewer Slide Prevention panel earlier that day. Never fucking said the joke. Repeated the joke that I didn't say on the panel during the podcast, saying like, this is the joke that Eli said would be funny, but we decided not to do. And then it literally probably killed that campaign. Just because it was purposely out of context. Like, that is crazy. Because they went ham. They spent fucking $6 million pushing a false narrative.
So that's why when you see it, like any of that in Pepperbox, is like if we're cutting around something, it is for that, because that can fuck us just taken out of context. And if you're still in that, well, it's freedom of speech, blah, 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 100%. Go into your workplace and yell the N-word.
Yeah. See where that gets you.
See what, and then be like, well, they took it out of context.
Freedom of
no.
speech is not freedom from consequences, which is like, you should be able to say whatever you want legally.
Yeah,
I do
100%.
not. I have no matter what heinous shit you want to say, unless it's like an actionable threat against a person, like, you say whatever the fuck you want. And even then, maybe. You know.
I'm doing a little side eye.
Like West Baptist Church is Westboro Church.
Westboro Baptist Church.
They like
You're a member still, right?
like
God hates who?
despise those people, but they're allowed to do everything.
Yeah,
they
have
do.
the freedom to speak. They have freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and freedom to peaceably assemble, as per the First Amendment. They're doing all three, and they're pieces of shit. Yeah. And I don't really want to, hang out with them or anything, but they have a legal right.
But that's what happens when you don't censor your stuff.
Not really. I don't think so.
Self-censorship is fine.
Big boss.
Yeah, it's like there's things that I just don't want to say. That's not censoring myself. It's if I had to list them, it would start with no. There's things that I just don't want to put out there with my name on it. But like, there's a difference between that and being forced to censor yourself to appease YouTube.
Yeah,
that fucking sucks. I hate having to answer to Big Brother and things like that.
Dude.
We just like being able to censor and
else.
post for, let's say, Pepperbox or for YouTube. The idea is just, hey, it makes it more relaxed environment to talk with your friends. When we had Craighead on, that's why he was so open and just relaxed is because he knew in post he had a couple of says on what makes it to the final cut and what doesn't. And he was super stoked. It put him at ease versus like if we went into this, it's like, hey, we can't make that joke. We can't even allude to that. Then you have this weird fucking dance of awkwardness and like, kills the momentum, kills the meaning of this podcast was just bros hanging out, doing a little interview and having a good ass time.
Censorship is gay and retarded. That's what we're saying.
Bully journalists.
Check out our gay retard merch. Just a shirt pops out.
I don't like how you pointed to me.
Right in his face.
He's here. He's in the room with us.